At what point, after you realize you messed up or you erred or you delayed divine planning, do you actually get your head back in the game, get yourself involved, admit to the mistakes you made, and actually get involved? At what point do you realize, okay, I was under an illusion? I fell for a trap. I allowed myself to be derailed by family members or ex-lover or somebody who was purposely attempting to steer me off my divine track and keep me away from Soul Tribe or my divine path or my divine person. At what point, once you realize you messed up, you wasted a lot of time, you created blockages, hindrances, and delays, do you actually say, okay, there's no longer another second, another hour, another day to waste? At what point? The question I wanted to ask was, with spiritual growth and having a spirit team that loves you and guides you, provide mercies and patience, right? And respect for you and space for you to heal and grow and figure things out. At what point does it becomes consequences and repercussions for literal choices you make that goes against spiritual growth, maturity, following divine instruction, adhering to divine instruction, and allowing yourself to remain stuck opposed to moving forward? At what point does it becomes consequence and repercussions for not correcting the mistakes that you finally woke up and realized that you made? Because there's no way you can think that, okay, I made the wrong choice, I went the wrong direction, and yet I get to continuously waste time making excuses and comparing things to divine timing. And the divine is going to magically correct the mistakes that you made. At some point, you have to take accountability. And once you realize you erred, went the wrong way, was under an illusion, was delusional, scary, afraid, didn't take your leap of faith when you were supposed to, when it was necessary for you to, when you were supposed to have strength and courage and faith, and not only your spirit team, but in yourself. At one point, do you say, enough time has been wasted? I made a mistake. I didn't see things clear. I allowed the people around me, be it family members, associates, people who were romantically interested in me, who were intentionally putting subconscious, subplanet thoughts within my ear, in my subconscious. But now I can see the truth. Now I recognize the truth. Now I know for a certainty I need to develop courage, develop the balls, so to speak, stand up for myself and speak up, tell the truth. At what point does it become consequences and repercussions for failure to correct your actions and deeds once you come into full realization and clarity that you erred, messed up, and made a mistake? At what point? The divine is not going to wait indefinitely for you who consider yourself chosen as star seeds to correct your actions. You're either in the game, fully committed, or you're not. Once you realize you messed up, I'm here, coach. I'm here. I'm switched out. Sit your ass on the bench for being late, for being a disruption, a disturbance. Get your ass on the bench. I may or may not call you. But now that you finally come into the light, now that you finally awakened, there's still hope for you. Now that you finally accept your position and realize the error of your ways, and you finally see the grass where it truly is and where you need to be, there's still hope, there's still possibility. But see, until you come into the light, out of the illusions and the delusions, until you come out of that dark space of lying to yourself and allowing the people around you to continuously lie to you, what are you actually planning and thinking is going to come? You can't play both sides. You can't have one foot in, one foot out. You can't be derailed, sidetracked, guided by narcissistic sociopaths, dark cults and covens that target you specifically, family members that want to keep you repeating cycles, ex-lovers that want to beg you to stay and keep you repeating cycles and keep you from your true divine path and person. But once you realize lack of experience or lack of faith and trust in your spirit team as well as in yourself and higher consciousness, what are you going to do about it? At what point do you honestly believe that it becomes consequences and repercussions? At what point do you understand you actually get cut from the team? You actually get sacked, right, for failure, for disciplinary actions. And then if you continue not to have the faith, not to have the courage to get in the game, get your head in the game, participate, be where you belong, constantly blocking and hindering divine planning. Aren't you a part of the team? Aren't you a part of the collective? And yet your failure to have the courage to get in the game, begin taking shots, taking the last shots even, if necessary, not believing in yourself. At what point do you get cut, escorted off the premises, out of the facility, lose your credentials? All of this dragging our feet, making excuses, and constantly telling ourselves we got time to waste. When these devils and cults and convers continuously work around the clock, attempting to infiltrate the collective and drag and derail you divine beings off your divine path, and yet y'all too afraid to come together. Y'all too scary to get your head in the game. Y'all too afraid to begin to allow your practices and your positive channel readings and your practices to actually turn into a full out, participation. You want to just remain hiding and still reap the benefits, still get paid. At what point do you get escorted out the facility and lose your credentials? No longer welcome, no longer on the team. Come on, y'all. We gotta understand that at some point, as a collective, as divine chosen beings, they are going to scout, target, and come up for y'all to derail you. But you also have to understand and know, with all your intelligence, all your beauty, and your wisdom, and being tapped in, that at some point you have to begin to gravitate towards your spirit. Your not just well, you already connected with your spirit team, but your collective, your soul tribe, your higher consciousness. For those of you who have divine partners, you got to connect and link with your divine partners. All it is being afraid to communicate, respond to emails, send text messages. Even if you're not ready to fully jump into the relationship, which is understandable, there's still a grace period where you got to get to know each other. That's understandable. Nobody's saying that. But establish communication, y'all. Stop being cowards. Why the fuck is y'all scared to talk to each other and communicate? Oh, you think you're going to exit this plan, this divine plan, all by yourself? You think that somehow, some way, you're going to have your own special entourage that's going to guide you when everything starts falling apart, the economy, more, changes of events, things of that nature. You don't really believe that you're going to have to learn how to come together, even for survival purposes. You think the economy and just gravitating and planning for a lavish lifestyle is going to be what it is at the end of the day? You in a nice house and residential, you don't think that things are going to change and be shaken up, and that you're going to have to know how to survive, and you're going to have to connect with your soul tribe and be guided by your spirit team and your angels to safety? Y'all don't see the bigger pictures, but that don't mean y'all have to be fucking stubborn, hard-headed, and do nothing and be afraid and put your head in the sand with your ass up in the air for everybody to come along, smack your cheek, splash, and keep moving along. Take your head out the sand. Stop allowing yourself to get fucked over and allow yourself to get in the game and participate. Come on, y'all.